sir.
Yeah, I mean, I guess your thoughts on the 48th win, and also the degree to which your organization was involved was pretty high. I mean, you were aware of that, right?
The only thing I'd say is that the election was yesterday. Today we have work to do, and my message to the state senate, to the assembly, those on both sides of the aisle is let's get to work. We have a budget that is due in about 5 weeks. Tough economic times, as we see from Governor Corzine's comments yesterday about the New Jersey budget, where I think their fiscal situation is a bit more dire than ours just in terms of the balance sheet. But we have tough decisions to make, and that's what we should do. That's what governance is about. And so I look forward to working with my colleagues over the next 5 weeks.
Will the Republicans be in charge of the state senate all the way to November?
Are
you going to do something to stop that, to change that?
As I said, I don't make predictions about the stock market, politics, or most other things. What I do know is that we have work to do on a budget, that I've laid out my budget and the executive budget. We have until Friday to come up with a consensus revenue figure, which should be possible given that we're all within a reasonable band in terms of where we think the economy's taking us on the revenue side, and then we'll have to figure out how to spend the money. And tough decisions, but important decisions.
Governor, you don't have any particular emotion about the fact that Darrell Aubertine won?
Well, look, Darrell's a great guy, and I think everybody knows he's been a friend for a number of years. He was a great assemblyman, and I think the fact that he won the race is a testament to his standing in the community. People like him, they respect him, they think he's genuine, and so I congratulate him. I also congratulate Will Barkley on a race that was a tough race, as politics can be. But they're both good individuals, and Will be in the Assembly, and Darrell now in the Senate, and we're all going to work together. That's what this is about.
Did you see the election at all in any kind of referendum on your performance?
No, I see these elections as campaigns about individual candidates in districts. And the degree to which voters, especially in a special where, as we all know, getting folks to turn out in a special is a bit more complicated. The individual strengths of the candidates were being tested. And I think they both ran good campaigns, and Darrell's a great friend, a great guy, and so congratulate him and look forward to working with both of them.
Are you talking to any Republican senators about coming over, though? Are you having discussions with any Republican state
senators? If you mean coming over to get
to
across the line to get a budget done,
no,
you bet. We're talking all the time. No, I'm not doing anything other than trying to govern the state, which means focusing on everything from the higher ed event we just had here, where these are the types of events that are transformative. When you can get Jim and Marilyn Simons to contribute $60 million to SUNY Stony Brook to create a new math and physics center. These are the sorts of events that will transform not only an individual SUNY campus, but the entire SUNY system and the economy. This is what I look back on and say, we've done something useful. And so my sincere congratulations and thanks to the Simons. These are the events I think about.
Governor, there's some students here who want to ask you a question.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, sure.
How much of that $4 billion is Stony Brook going to see, and how will that go into?
You're as bad as a legislator.
How are they going to? What other funds are you looking at to put into the flagship program besides that lottery fund?
Let me answer it this way. First, we need to fund the $4 billion. The $4 billion will spin out using ordinary investment returns about $220 million annually to the SUNY system over a 20-year time horizon. And endowments are long-term propositions. 20 years from now, if we put the $4 billion in today, the $4 billion would have grown to about $9 billion, and we'd be getting over $500 million annually to spend. So you split the return 50-50 between reinvestment in the endowment and actual expenditures in that fiscal year. How much of the 200 in year one would go to SUNY Stony Brook? I just couldn't tell you. That would be a decision made by the trustees of the SUNY system. My job is to ensure that we have the funding, the revenue, and to the extent I nominate individuals to the SUNY board, to make sure we have the wisdom on that board to make those smart decisions. I couldn't tell you among the 64 campuses precisely how they would choose to allocate it.
How risky is an investment like that? And is there a plan B if
what you do with endowments is invest across the entire, and Jim is probably the one to ask. I mean, if you want good investment returns, maybe we'll give the whole thing to Jim to invest. But then we get to $9 billion in year one. But really what you do is you invest across the array of financial instruments, from T-bills, which are the most secure theoretically, to the sort of creative derivatives that these days bounce around in valuation. But so you get an average return that hopefully outperforms the market. The average return of the New York State Pension Fund over the last decade, or going back a bit farther, I think has been about 9.97% per year. So if you take that and assume the same investment criteria, that is where these numbers come from. But you invest across all types of financial instruments.
Governor,
What is
Governor,
the alliance between Stony Brook, Brookhaven, and Cold Spring Harbor?
That is something that is emerging and developing as we speak. It was something I became aware of as a concept not many months ago. Frankly, I won't say too much, and Jim brought it to my attention and said he thought this would be something where the synergies would be very real. And so we have moved forward in terms of providing state funding to make this a possibility, worked with the boards. I don't want to get ahead of where the boards are. They are individual entities with their own governing structures, and I don't want to say what I shouldn't say because they have to make these decisions. Certainly, as you heard me say, in the state of the state, and as made evident by the funding we're putting into it, I'm fully supportive because we have such wise individuals as Jim Simons, Shirley Kenny, running these institutions, and it will work. It will be a great opportunity.
Governor,
The
thank you.
MTA
Thank you, Governor.
capital program
Thank you,
is calling
Governor.
for a delay in the Second Avenue subway. Are you okay with that?
I'm not so sure I see it as a delay. We're funding these programs, and we're going to be building them on the schedule we've been talking about. Thanks.
Thank you.